There we
Hello.
go. Man, I
Yes.
apologize. My machine was showing me who was the master. I thought I was the master, but the machine kind of, you know what I'm saying,
Yes,
flipped it on
this
me.
is Wakesa. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Indeed.
Yes, sir. So we are having an event this Friday, and I'm pleased to have you on the show. Can you please talk to the people with me on Facebook right now about the event that's coming up?
Excellent. The event is coming up. It's Friday and Saturday. It's the WHB Super Weekend. That is Warriors, Healers, and Builders Super Weekend. There are 5 events over 2 days. That kicks off on Friday night at 6 p.m. at the Millennium School. And we're going to, on Friday night, start with 2 things. The one thing mainly, that is storytelling. But we're not just going to preach at you about storytelling. We're going to give you the Harriet Tubman, the inventor, which is also her name, Warrior, Healer, Builder story, as a way to show the power of stories that I said last time that precede the revolution. You see, and so this tool of storytelling is available to every parent, available to every brother, every sister. This is a powerful tool our ancestors have used for years. Today, we give up storytelling to others. The only stories we tell are stories about their story. So we watch the game, and then we get together and tell stories about their story. Okay,
right.
And not understanding that it is critical that we understand that words and stories both reflect and shape mental experiences. That these words and stories are powerful tools for conscious and unconscious mental processes. So we're going to change our condition. We have to change our stories.
We have to change the story first.
We cannot tell the same story, not just a story about the past. We got to change that one too, because many times we tell the story from the outside in. On Friday, you're going to see how we tell the Harriet Tubman story from the inside out, so that you know how to do that, not just with her story, but with other stories as well. That's why it's called storytelling from the inside out. You see, one thing was a theory that we debunk. One theory is that insight produces change. So if I know the damage of smoking, I'm going to stop smoking. Well, if that was the case, nobody would be smoking, because there's not probably a person that doesn't know that. All right, I know that being overweight is damaging to my health. So insight alone, knowledge alone doesn't produce change, because if you're telling yourself the same story, if you're creating the same image, if you're holding the same beliefs, then you're going to recreate the same behavior. This thing is powerful here. So Harriet Tubman, Warren Hill Builder story, both to learn about how do you tell stories from the inside out, to learn how to challenge the injected racial scripts that control our behavior without our being aware of it. And we make a connection between that kind of social hypnosis and the movie Get Out that people are talking about. How, in fact, the use of hypnosis in the movie was one of the sunken places. It really took the brothers, we call it CAP. His control, his authority, and his power was taken away. Even though he still had it, he couldn't access it. Similarly, these injected racial scripts literally limit our power or have us turn it on each other. And we don't just preach about that, talk about that. We actually show you that within the context of the story that we're telling about Harriet Tubman. So it's a dynamic experience on Friday night. And then Saturday morning, for those people who want to become certified in this process of telling a story from the inside out, then we have a 9 to 10 session just for 1 hour. And then others may want to come for 10 to 11, where we focus on African-centered education that is designed to heal alienation, because the regular educational process, I don't care if you're talking about public school, I don't care if you're talking about private school, is designed to, as it educates our children, alienate them from our families, from our communities, from our culture, and from our ways. And Sister Jill Jackson hit it on the head that says our culture covers us. And that cultural sheath that protected us and guided us through a long night of captivity has now holes in it, owing to integration, desegregation, and all of that. So So part of what we deal with from 10 to 12 is what African-centered education is, and this is whether you got a weekend program, whether you have a rites of passage program, whether you have a after-school program, or you're running a charter school, or you're a teacher or parent. We really got to get into what is the purpose, and then what are the projects or the how-tos of an African-centered education. And then our crowning piece on Saturday is from 1 to 5 o'clock. 1 to 5 o'clock, it's called the Blacknificent Seven. 3 skills and 4 steps to the kind of communication, conflict resolution, and unity that we yearn for as a people. But tell me about it. How many of us in your college or anywhere you went to school did they tell you how do you unify with black people? How do you handle the wounds that we've been inflicted with, and over top of those wounds still knit unity? We die for it, we want for it, we cry for it, but we haven't been trained, and how do you get it? And that's what we do on Saturday from 1 to 5. And then the last session is 7 to 9, and this is black male, black female relationships. We're going to take some snippets from the movie Denzel Washington, what's that latest one, Fences, okay? And then we're going to talk about that. And the key is, the title of it is Just One. And it comes from a line from a James Ingram song that says, I know we can get through it if we can just get to it. And many times in our relationships, we can't get to it. There's so much stuff over it, under it, crowded all around it. Leftover stuff from previous relationships, leftover stuff from dad, mom, and whatever, that we can't get to it, so we can get through it. And our goal is to show how we can get to it, because if we can get to it, I ain't got to worry about it. I know we can get through it. That's the kind of people we are. And that's the WHB, the Warrior Healer Builder Super Weekend, jumping off Friday, right there at the Millennium School.
Now, I got a question. You mean to tell me that you got this whole weekend packed out like this for $20?
$20.
$20 for the whole weekend?
For the whole weekend, all 5 events. Come to one of them, come to all 5 of them. Same $20.
Family, you got to get out to this. Listen to me. This brother is talking about changing the narrative. Now, I don't know if y'all remember when when Obama was president, they said they wanted to kill Osama bin Laden. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember what they said was the most important thing they had to kill about Osama bin Laden? It wasn't his body. It wasn't his crew. It was his narrative. They wanted to kill the narrative. This is why they buried him out in the middle of the sea in an unmarked grave, so they just totally destroyed this man's story. Why? Because the story will keep people going. It's the story of Jesus Christ that got a lot of y'all hooked up. It's the story of Muhammad that got a lot of y'all hooked up. You know what I'm saying? So when we start learning how to tell the story, as the brothers say, from the inside out, we truly gonna liberate ourselves. As the pastors say, this show is called this is Tribal Quotes, and we was talking about a book. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a brother by the name of Erskine Peters. He wrote a book called African Opens to the Tree of Life, and he went around and he gathered some proverbs from different African cultures. And one of the things he said is, the sayings of the knowledge holders have been transmitted over the ages through ideas and symbols. Ideas and symbols have power and energy. There are ways, systems, or manners by which ideas and symbols serve as manifestations, configurations, and stimulators of power and energy. And you're talking about formulating ideas into symbols and, in a sense, injecting them into us in a healthy way. Because let me ask you this, Elder, I'm sorry, because I go off too.
Good. Come on with it.
Movies, TV shows, radio, are these tools of hypnotism?
Absolutely. Movies, TV shows, radio, audio, all of these are for social hypnotism. Okay? They are designed to inject into us stories and scripts. So that, for example, I tell people all the time, not one of us that got off the boat was not abused. All right? when we got off the boat on these shores, we had already been abused for months, if not years. Okay, not even talking about the middle path. So we were abused. At the same time, we told ourselves a different story about our abuse. So we still could have family, even under the most abject conditions. We still could have love for each other. Okay? Suicide was still not a choice that we made because of despair. We may have gone to war, okay, knowing that we would die, but we didn't do that other piece because we told ourselves a different story about our existence and about our condition, even though we had been abused. This is so powerful because one of the reasons I don't like the movie Ray Charles. I'm glad that the Ray Charles. I love Ray Charles. The brother made the movie and made money. I ain't got no problem with that. The problem is the if-then script. That is, Ray Charles, all of his struggles in his life, his drugs and womanization and all that stuff like came from the fact that he let his brother. He didn't stop his brother from drowning. Like what? He's blind, right? You're gonna tell this story. And then no, racism is not a problem. These other things are not a problem. No, he's got this internal turmoil, and because of this internal turmoil and guilt, therefore he now is going to be doing all this. Oh man, I can't. That kind of script, that kind of hypnotism has it be where if we make a mistake in our lives, if we have a failure in our lives, if we are abused in our lives, then the if-then script says, okay, here is then what the rest of life will play out to be. I mean, you hit it right on the head. We have to not only inject powerful stories, we have to know how to defend ourselves from those stories, how to block those stories, and how to create for ourselves, for our children, for our spouses, for our families, for our community. We create stories that are empowering stories. We have a saying, create a story about tomorrow that empowers you today. I want to say that again. That is, see, we all have stories about tomorrow. I believe that the sun's going to come up. That's a story that I'm making up. I really have no idea that the sun will come up tomorrow. There's no guarantee about that, right? I'm making up the story that I'll be in Columbus on Friday, okay? That's a story that I'm making up. So regardless, we make up stories about the future so that we prepare for it, we move into it, etc. And part of the problem is we're not aware of the stories that we're making up, and that we have the power to make up the story about tomorrow that will have us be powerful today, and therefore more likely to create what we want to create. So that's a powerful piece. Really, I want the audience to really hear this, and if you don't do anything, take this away. Make up a story about tomorrow that empowers you today. No.
I'm putting a call out. They need to do more than that. They need to be there Friday. Because listen, family, I want y'all to think about this. Storytellers are the keepers of the culture. Now, who made up the stories that we tell ourselves about, as he said, the middle passage, our Ma'afa? Who made up the story?
Right.
I mean, because really all the stories that we're telling ourselves right now are, in a sense, from an alien perspective. It's not us, right? And until we grasp the engine of creation of ideas, symbols, which form stories, we are always going to have a problem. We will never get free. As a matter of fact, the people that control the stories that we tell also controls the money that we spend.
Right. That's right. What can I say something about that? You know,
yes, sir.
You and I both love Amos Wolf. And one of the things Amos says is he says, why does this society have a story that makes you believe that you're ugly? What's the purpose of having a person or a group of people feel ugly, believe themselves ugly? Says what happens is if you believe yourself ugly, unclean, unkept, then you'll go out and spend money to compensate for that lack. And so we literally drive the cosmetic industry way out of proportion to our numbers. and into our need. But you see, the story that our features are ugly. We are ugly. We are worthless. We are what? Those are stories injected to drive the alien economy. You just hit it on the head. Amos Wilson, what makes you want to do what you want to do?
So, family, y'all need to listen. $20. I mean, that's 2 drinks. You know what I'm saying? That's a pack of cigarettes and a half. You know what I'm saying? We need to come out. Peace, Consul. Sister Jill Jack said, Warrior Hill to build a super weekend at Millennium Community School, April 7th and 8th. $20 for 5 workshops. This brother gonna come and he gonna work. I'm trying to get the kombucha ready for you, sir. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
But this weather up here is making it difficult because it goes from cold to warm, and you know the scobies are very sensitive. So it's kind of messy. I'm trying to save these bottles, but I got to do my show, so I got to crack them open. You know what I'm saying?
Do what you got to do. But you know what?
I do
the sister that was coming with me, while my wife, Afia, you think I'm bad. Y'all better look out. So she takes kombucha too, so I would definitely want her to have some of your ambrosia, okay? But she got some growing right here, all right? And so I got the SCOBY. I understand the difficulty if you can do it, great, but I'm wanting to tell people that this is a brother-sister team, okay? We've been together for 30 years, been married for about 20 of them, okay? So, all right, and when we bring it down, we bring that male-female energy, all right, into the space, into the place. She's a powerful sister. She would be on the call right now, except for she's handling a conference call at this very moment. So looking forward to y'all coming out to hear my wife and my Madzimoyo, for her to bring her experience and her power onto the space. I'm looking forward to coming and sharing with you and learning with you, sharing what we have discovered. You see, what we will do is to give you how to. It's long to say what to do. But we're one that our community is often too long on ought to and too short on how to. We are Higher Education Institute. See, we about literally how do we do things. Okay? So we give you not just here is the theory and here's this, here's the option. Here's what's been put in place. Here's what you put in place. Here's what you can leave and do now, okay, to turn this around. Because again, we're too long on we oughta, and we're too short on how do I do it? How do I do it with the resources do I have? How do I do it given my conditions?
I just said on my show the other day, we are too busy looking at the wins and the whats in history rather than the hows and whys.
You got
it. We stuck on that. But Ms. Navita has a question. She said, can you touch on effects of public education on our children?
Absolutely. I'd be glad to do that. The European educational system, public and private, is designed to alienate our children, is designed to cut from underneath them their sense of confidence, is to alienate them from that cultural sheath that protects them and gives them guidance. One of the things that's critical that a community and a culture does is it gives folks mission and direction. Now, without mission and direction, then in fact, I'm there in myself to serve interest. So public school is designed to literally undercut our children, both cut them off from that mission, from that identity, and so literally then I'm trying to find myself, okay? So anybody can tell me which way to go, who I am, and whatever. Now, but now also, it also is designed to smother the genius. I'll talk about this more when I get there on Saturday from the 10 to 12. I'd like to bring up the point of Richard Williams. Now, never mind that Serena and Venus have gone astray some, okay? But I want to take you back to the edit who was educating them to be tennis players, and they were in the junior tennis circuit, because if you're going to be a pro tennis, you get on the junior tennis circuit. He pulled off the junior tennis circuit because he noticed that were making calls and saying things designed to erode their confidence. And he said, no. And they said, they're not going to be able to be pro. He said, no, I'm not going to have you come and erode my children. If you think they have nothing, he pulled them off the circuit and trained them over there on the concrete, the courts of Compton. The point is, the school system is designed to erode that sense of confidence and to alienate them from our culture and our community, which is why even when they successfully graduate, they don't typically return distinguished service to our community. Now that's built into the educational process, all right? It's alienation. It creates identity confusion there, and so part of what I'll lay out is a 4-step process. I'll be working at a school that asked me to come and do some Black Studies stuff for a Black Studies club that had together some public school. All right, and so I will highlight those 4 pieces of how do we talk about our story, what they call history, from 200,000 BC to today, in 4 basic broad stages where the focus is culture, not on kings and queens. Where the focus is on our mission throughout that time and not on kings and queens. Okay, so that our students will develop the kind of thematic understanding and that river of struggle, so they know where to go, as opposed to here are dates. Okay, this happened this date, this happened this date, that happened that date. But there's no connection with anything except for we trying to prove to white folks that we somehow smart, that we somehow did this, that we're somehow moral, et cetera, et cetera. No. None of that. It's really how is it that we look at the unbroken civilization, that our unbroken culture. One of the literally we start with something that says way back home. We then go to retreat without surrender. We talk about our period of captivity, brother. The whole period of captivity, which is slavery, is called retreat without surrender. How can I say that? You and me wouldn't be here if we surrendered. Okay? We may have retreated, but we didn't surrender, and our culture continued, even through the whole period. It had to be on many emphasis. It still continues, and it is in us today. And so it's really critical that we learn how to teach our children, and we learn how to challenge the systems if we're going to have it in systems, that we challenge those. But beyond that, we also have to know how to create our own. Right. Whether we're talking about Sabbath schools, after schools, other programs, and if I have, so that they learn real education is, while I fight for them in other places that I'm forced to send them, whether it's because I'm forced economically or politically or whatever. If I got to have my child in an unsafe place, and we need to understand and I'm not talking about safety. I'm not talking about being beat up by a gang. We ain't talking about that. I'm talking about unsafe as in it's designed to erode their sense of who they are and their sense of confidence and to alienate them from, because the various discipline problems are manifestations of this alienation, are manifestations of the system telling them that they're stupid, they can't learn, they have oppositional defiant disorder. Now I'm going to tell you, if that ain't the most craziest thing, we'll talk about drapetomania. Drapetomania came out of the predecessor to the DSM-5. These folks saying black people's tendency to run away is a mental illness. Well, now they got an oppositional defiant disorder, and I'm defiant against an oppositional to an alien authority, and you're going to say that's a problem? That's not a problem, okay? Just like running away from captivity was not a problem. Now, of course, it is a problem if the definition is from their perspective, but we got to understand that whole process and the myriad ways they literally stimulate errant behavior, then they label that behavior, okay? And that whole process of labeling and diagnosis, even for well-meaning who focus have been trained by these folks ends up being an instrument of domination. And then parents like, oh, but my child got my no. It's important that we understand the system, understand how you challenge it, how do you create alternatives to it. So if you can't challenge it totally and create your own, have a Saturday school after school program where they learn this is what good education is. This is how to learn when somebody cares about you and believes in you totally. Now, and while you fight for them and make it a safer place over there, but understanding that unless you control that over there, it never will be as good as what you have from home. And that's part of what we got to say. I mean, I can answer any particular questions about the math or science associated and how that's done. But the main thing that people need to understand is that the educational process is designed to make us serve aliens. We're alienated from our culture, our way, our smarts, our genius, so that we will serve aliens. That's what the public and private white school system, because don't get it twisted. Many people think if I send them up to Phillips Exeter Academy where it costs $39,000 to send your child to a junior high school, where I consulted many years, then they're getting a good education. No, they're just getting a higher class Eurocentric education. That means they will be higher on the totem pole and be a more bourgeois instrument for black oppression.
Right. So what I'm going to do is, because I had to pull it off the Spreaker, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this MP3 up because I got downloaded from Uber Conference. I will be posting this up so that those that couldn't hear real clear can hear this brother, but this brother will be here. Let me read the information for y'all. Him and his wife are coming from coming from Atlanta to Columbus to drop this information on us. They are doing 5 workshops for $20. That means Friday night from 6 to about 9. No, 6 until we done. Let's do it like, because, hey, we've been blessed. We done when we done. 6 until done. Then we'll be back Saturday all day, right? We're going to have food there. I think the Willoughby Soul Kitchen. What is it? Well, the Willoughby's going to be there with the vegetarian and vegan meals. Then we also going to have, I can't remember, Red Snapper, I think. Right. It's going to be food there. We're going to have vendors there. Y'all need to be in the place. Don't come just to go to the vendors. Bring it. You ain't getting in without your $20, right? We got to raise the money, right? But for $20, you got 5 workshops that's going to help you learn. It's going to help you learn to tell a story from the inside out, certify you as a storyteller, help you learn about African-centered education, how to use the process, how to master rites of passage, how to navigate the system and make sure that your child is getting what they need. In a relationship or relationships, god damn. You know what I'm saying? Will it be Soul Veg? That's right. And Red Snapper. All right. And it'll be, hold on. Still trying to master this Facebook stuff. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Will it be Soul Veg and Red Snapper? Let me go up. I want to make sure I'm reading all the information right. Warrior Healers Builders Super Weekend at Millennium Community School, April 7th and 8th. $20 for 5 workshops. Family, y'all need to be in a place. You need to be in a place, right? Those of you that's talking about nation building, those that's talking about you have problems with the education system. I hear some of y'all gripes, right? Some of y'all when y'all children begin suspended, y'all talking about my child ain't bad, it's the system. It's your opportunity to learn to do something about that. So I want to thank you for calling in. I went a half an hour over. I want to thank everybody that tuned in, and I will see you. I can't wait to meet you in person, you and your wife, brother. I want to thank you for calling in, and I am out. You have any last words?
Looking forward to seeing you, my brother. Let's do it.
All right. All right, I'll see you soon. And peace to all my family out there. Remember, go to gum.co/Nguza Saba Challenge. We have to start taking back the symbols, the ideas, so that we can form our culture, so that we, as the brother just explained, so that we can start controlling the story. It's easy. It's not hard. It's easy. We just got to be bold enough to do it. Like I say, this is a time for new legends. This is a time for new myths. And we have to be the ones to create them. We need new stories. Old stories is no longer working. The suffering hard and working hard myth that we've been giving our kids is not working anymore. And we need to change the stories. And the stories need to have endings that benefit us. West Asians do it all the time, fam. Hell, look at Star Wars. Hell, they in space. You know what I'm saying? They in space having battles between themselves. They got you in there, and you got a perm. One black person, and you got a perm. Oh, my fault. They in the new one, they put another black person. All right. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Let's start telling our story. This brother Hatim, y'all join me for Tribal Quotes. I was joined by brother Wakesa from Aya Educational Institute in Atlanta. You can look it up, AYAED.com. And for the specific show in Columbus, it's AYAED.com/Columbus. All right. I'll be seeing y'all Friday. I'll be in the place. Maybe I'll be streaming. Maybe I won't. And my favorite quote from him, and he just put it up here to remind me, is the story precedes the revolution. That's dope. The story precedes the revolution. And I'm hoping that's not going over some of y'all heads, right? Because right now, I don't want to go to war with some of y'all because y'all stories ain't all messed up. Y'all got the wrong, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got the wrong story. We need to get our story together before we go to war. You know what I'm saying? There's never been a warrior that went on the battlefield talking about, I hope it wins. I hope it works out. No, they used to dance around the fire and they would have tales about their victories in advance. All right. It's been a great night. I want to thank every last one of y'all. I'm out. Peace. I will be posting this up. Peace.